Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I wasn't here last week. It doesn't feel like I've been gone, though. It feels like I was here last week, but I was not. Y'all had Pat, and I saw it. I was in Roanoke. They have 26 acres of land at their church.
Wow.
I told them that we were going to be talking about a new home, and now I needed 26 acres. No. Yeah, it's a really lovely. If you're ever in the Roanoke area, you should visit. They have their own labyrinth. They have hiking trails. Yeah, it's really cool. So anyway, okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let's have some church. Let's take this time to spiritually align ourselves. Get into whatever your comfortable prayer position is. Focus within for that one moment. Just finding that one thing to have gratitude for in this moment. That one thing that can bring a smile to your face, where we can join together and use that gratitude to be grateful to be right here in this space with these people at this time to celebrate together our spiritual truth, claiming in advance that the knowledge that people need will come to them not because of what I say or anyone else says, but simply by the inspiration that sparks what they need to know, each one of us, what we need to know. We accept that in advance. We let it be well. We let it be so, and so it is, and amen. And now I turn it over to Nick.
Lyrics. Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes comes with living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, and I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place that God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have enough of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do much. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God I am the place where God shows up.
Thank you, Nick, and all of the choir. Good morning. Good morning and welcome home. I'm going to ask you all to repeat after me. If you're watching us virtually, please type this in the comments. And Bobby's going to grade you. Everyone look around at your neighbors and repeat after me. Good morning. I love you this morning. And I sure do appreciate you being here. And to our virtual church, please know that we are saying that to you as well. Help us grow this loving community by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to our pages. And now, if you will join me in reading our affirmations. The affirmations for May are on our screen. There is a mothering spirit of love within that supports me in all that I do. My power benefits myself and the world when I speak positive words of truth into my experiences. And now I'll turn it over to Wally.
So happy Mother's Day. All right, so we want to do a couple of things to honor the mothers in the room, to honor the mothers attached to everyone in the room, and as well virtually. We invite you to type in things as we're doing this as well. So first, I want to recognize if you're in the room and you're a mother in whatever form that looks like for you, please stand up. And now I invite everyone else to applaud you. Which I gotta do this. And truly, we thank you. We thank you for your kids, but we thank you for what you put into the world and carry us all forward with love and peace and joy and sometimes, discipline, but and all the good things. So we thank you for that. So now the next part is something that we started back in 2020 when we were virtual, and I was like, oh, how do we do these different things? So we started something called, which really comes from a poem that I think Maya wrote it. I'm not sure. Anyway, it was something that Oprah Winfrey did when she was honoring some people. And it was called We Speak Their Names. And so what I want to do is we're going to take this moment to speak the names of our mothers. And I'm going to pass the mic around. And if you're watching us virtually, whether you're watching live or the recording, please type those names in. And just the first name of your mom or your mother figure or someone that you want to honor in this moment. And we're just going to take the time to just say the names out loud. So I'm going to pass the microphone around, and I will start by saying Judy.
Helen.
Barbara.
Carol.
Patricia.
Jean.
Georgiana.
Clara May.
Joni.
Elizabeth.
Veronica. Betty. Judy.
Nana. Charlotte.
Debbie. Ruth Ann. Helen.
Trudy.
Adele.
Betty.
And they're all here in the room with us. And they already always are, but it's, I think, special to take that time to acknowledge them by name and say it out loud. And so whether they are with us physically on the planet today or not, we say Happy Mother's Day and thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
Thank you. And now we'll have more special music by Nick Bolle. And let me give you a little bit of information. For those of you in the room or our virtual viewers who don't already know, Nick is a singer-songwriter who started attending Unity in Greensboro in 2008. While living in Knoxville, Tennessee, Nick played music at the Religious Science Church for 9 years. Nick works as a mental health therapist at Mood Treatment Center after 11 years of working in community health, mental health care.
For some reason, that always shocks me. It's partly there's certainly a lot of stuff we do with narrative as therapists and looking at it, other therapists here. And sometimes those stories are helpful, and sometimes I don't want it to be defined by that story. I don't want it to limit me. This is a song. This is a song about letting go. I was telling Chris that I played this here a long, long time ago, and Chris was like, "Yeah, everyone's gonna hear it," and like, "You're playing that again?" This is called "Till I Put It Down." I have a little doubt, a very special doubt. It comes to me and turns me inside out. It comes to me and I second guess. It comes to me and asks. It asks if I'm unsure, and I say yes till I put it down. It will fill up my hours till I put it down. It will take all my power till I put it down. And I make fear my friend till I put it down. Till I put it down. I will do this again and again till I hear the call and put thoughts of love above all. I have a little gripe. It's my very special gripe. When I complain, my anger is so ripe. It comes to me pounding on my door. It comes to me and asks, would I like some more? Till I put it down. It will fill up my hours till I put it down. I will give it my power till I put it down. Till I put it down. I will do this again and again till I hear the call and put thoughts of love till I put it down. Till I put it down. Till I put it down. I can put it down. I can put it down now. I can let it go. Oh, oh, I know how. Till I put it down. Till I put it down. Till I put it down. Till I put it down, 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 down. Till I put it down. Till I hear the call and put thoughts of love above all, above all, above all. Till I put it, till I put it, till I put it, till I put it down.
Wow, what a beautiful message. I just love the songs you write, Nick. They're just beautiful. So put it down. So that's what we're going to be praying about a little bit now, too. So I am serving as your prayer chaplain today, and we'd like to invite you to, if you have a prayer request, to put it on a prayer list, to have your, excuse me, prayer requests prayed over by our prayer chaplains and Silent Unity. Just need to fill out a form and put it in the prayer box before and after service. And Nana, you want to bring the prayer box down? Yeah. Good deal. So, or you may click the prayer request button on our website. No matter what you may be growing through, our prayer chaplain team wants to pray with you about it. So just seek one of us out. I think I am it today. Seek me out after the service. I will actually be standing at the back there. For now, let's take a moment to just mentally write or literally write on a piece of paper about any challenge that we may be facing at this time. Then imagine confidently placing your note in the prayer box. This act of writing helps to deeply impress you with your choice to let go and let God. So to put it down. Then, if you are tempted to worry any further, tell yourself, no, I turn away from the challenge and turn to God for peace and guidance. For I know that when life seems too overwhelming for me to handle, Spirit can. The Spirit in me has the answers. So let us take a deep breath and close our eyes. Dear, dear Spirit, we ask your blessing on all the intentions placed in our prayer box today, and on the intentions we hold in our hearts for ourselves and for others. For these, we would like to offer a special prayer for Sarah Henning, Linda Cohen, Pat Hauser, Addison, Emmy, and Ron Shaver, Neil Whitmire, the Marianne Smith family, Letitia Tish Rollo, Tyler, Angie, and Marianne Stokely, Kim and Jolie Willis, and Joan Clapp. Spirit, we ask that you help us see them in their wholeness as you see them in their wholeness. We know that you are our source. You are everywhere present. And you are available to each and every one of us in this moment, no matter the challenges we or our loved ones may be going through. We cast out fear and doubt of every kind and hold fast to the knowing that we have everything we need to meet any situation that shows up in our lives. We call on that source now for divine guidance and inspiration. We rest in this knowing and simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. So let us just continue in this prayerful place as we move now into a time of silence. And feel that assurance we've been promised in our minds, in our hearts, and in our bodies. We begin by taking in a deep breath. And imagining ourselves and our loved ones and any situation that we may find ourselves in being surrounded by a golden white light. Simply take that in. Feeling, seeing, imagining this golden light surrounding you. Then as we take in another deep breath, we feel that golden white light permeating our bodies, starting from our heads, passing down through our neck, our backs, our chests, our abdomen, our pelvic floor, all of our organs, our arms, hands, legs, and feet. Just feel it infusing every part of our being and the beings and situations we hold in prayer with this radiant light of love. This love is ever expanding, growing and growing until it envelops all people, all plants, all animals, everywhere. This light heals all, knows all, is all. Let us take a moment of silence now as we take in the magnificence of our being and all beings everywhere. And for this knowing that all is well, once again we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen.
You know, I always show up with notes, and then it's like, oh, but there's this download of everything that's happened since then. And like, even while I've been in here today, like that inner voice has told me like 3 different things to start with. I can't listen to that inner voice at that point. I just have to pick one. So here's what I'll tell you. Like in the 70s, when I was a kid, you know, going to church, like they certainly wouldn't show up in like it had to be the full-on suit, you know. And on Mother's Day, I remember being confused as a kid once and asking why my flower that I had to wear on Mother's Day was red and my mom was wearing a white one, and then them explaining, well, that's because your mother's alive and my mother's passed. And so what I wanted to say is, thanks to a trip to Marshall's this past week, I'm wearing flowers for all of us. In all the colors, and yeah, it's, you know, it's an interesting tradition, and in some way, like, I want to honor it, and yet, like, not in the exact same way. So, you know, I think it's great to like find traditions are wonderful, right? Like when that's what keeps things alive and keeps things going, but also like the shifting it to make it fit the life you're living, as opposed to being like, no, we have to do it exactly like this, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then it's like, well, okay, you do you. So the other thing that like really came to mind to talk about was when Charlotte was just leading us through the prayer and the meditation. Just to like, I think most of you already know this, but I think it's always good to say out loud things that we know too, to help like lock it in a new way or whatever, of the importance of what we just did in naming people who have asked for prayer requests, naming them out loud. And then we always, you know, we don't say, and Jane Doe, well, hers is a heart problem. And John Doe, well, you know, his is you know, he stumped his toe. You know, like we don't give you those problems, because the prayer isn't to help them solidify their problem, it's to heal from it. And we do that, and what we teach here at Unity is affirmative prayer. So we're always affirming the whole perfect and complete person. Like even if you go sit with them in the hospital and they're like, by the way, they've got like an hour left, you still affirm the whole perfect. And I'm not even like, that happened to me like a year ago. I was called in because it's like, yeah, they've already pulled the plugs on everything. You know, it's like my job was still not to go in and say, oh, poor Rick. It was to say, I love you, buddy. I see the whole perfect and complete you. And that's what I whispered in his ear in that moment, right? No, we don't have any of that on our list right now. But the point is that we don't bring up the problem, because we're all being asked to join together in seeing the whole perfect and complete person, right? And like being in there. Now, then we go into the phase of meditation, which is then the personal thing, right? And that's where we want to go into silence, into that place of release. Now, while we're doing that for ourselves, that's still part of the healing prayer part. Because if I say to you right now, don't think about a gray elephant, what are you thinking about, right? So there's, you know, it's like, because somebody's name that got listed on there, somebody else in here is like, oh, yeah, you know, their problem is blah, 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 right? So it's like, doesn't matter. So now, but because it got brought up and you're like, oh, well, yes, I'm praying that they get healed from fill in the blank, and say, now let's go into meditation so that you can release that too, to help them release that. And then we're all releasing that, right? So that's kind of the important part of both prayer and meditation. It's also what we teach in denials and affirmations, so that like you don't want to just ignore whatever the challenge is. You can't just pretend it doesn't exist. You can just acknowledge that it may exist, but it doesn't have power or power over you, right? So that's when you're like, I'm not going to be ruled like. Okay, I went to the Grasshoppers game yesterday, and all the weather forecast had said it's going to rain. Not just rain, it's going to be thunderstorms all day, 2 o'clock on. And it's like, so my friends were like, all right, we're going to meet or not. And it's like, yeah, we're not going to get held back by the rain, because if it rains, then we'll do something else. We'll just stay at Joymongers and drink beer the whole time. Or we'll just, it's like the whatever thing is, it's like, yeah, all right, so here's the problem, and I'm going to focus on, but it's going to be fine for me anyway, in whatever that thing is, right? So today's lesson is called the Mother Inheritance. And there's lots of things we inherit from our mothers. Some of them we're like, yes, I want to emulate exactly that. And then sometimes it's like, let me look real close at that so that I can figure out the exact opposite thing to do, right? And do that. And we often talk, and we certainly teach in New Thought, that, we're not bound by the medical conditions of the family. It's like, oh, well, but great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, they all had it, so you're going to have it too. It's like, and I can show you the exact spots where corns come on my feet, where my mother had them in the exact same spot, so I inherited my mother's feet, and yet I'm not held by that. Like, there are things that we can fix on those things, right? We can say, oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, then we shift. We still give thanks because we're only thinking about it because of Mama, whether we liked what she said or not, And we inherit all those different things. The story about my mom that kept coming up to me this week is, most people that knew her would describe her as sweet. And she was sweet. But I was thinking of this story. When I was in high school, my French teacher, it was her first job out of college, so we were not that far in age, and we were really like arguing siblings. She was the only French teacher for 3 years. We were, sometimes we were best friends, and sometimes we were just always spatting with each other. And in my junior year, at some point, I just decided I wasn't going to do any of the homework, ever. Zeros every day, didn't care, because I aced all the tests, so I still wasn't failing the class, and it annoyed her. And once I found out it annoyed her, I was really locked in on doing it, So, but she waited till the end of the school year to say, well, I'm going to call your mother in and show your grades. It was the end of the school year. It's like, well, what are you going to do about it, And so I'm standing outside. It's the end of the school day. I'm standing outside, with my friends till my mom gets there. And as we're walking in, one of my friends said, kick her ass, Wally. And I'm like, that's my mother, To which my mother in turn said, that's what I'm here for. So, the sweet woman that everybody else knew, I knew the lioness of that person. And she's not unique in that. We all really have that, right? We all have our sweet moments, and we all have our protector moments, whether that be for someone else or whether that be for the special things in our lives. And the perspective of that will always shift and change. So, every Wednesday, Unity in Greensboro puts out an affirmation. We put it out on Facebook, and it's on Instagram, and it goes out on that Tuesday in our e-blast. We have a different affirmation that goes out, and it's an affirmation, and then there's a Bible verse that goes along with that affirmation. And we've done this one time before, but for the month of May, I chose one Bible verse and then asked all the chaplains to write a different affirmation of their own, everybody individually, nobody check with the others. I said, if any of them come in close, I'll edit them and shift them. But as I suspected, that was not required, because you can take this one verse, and from our different perspectives, we get different things. And here's the thing, even when I give you the affirmations, and we're going to look at the affirmations, they're going to mean something slightly different to every single person in the room. That's why my prayer often, and I said today, is I hope you get the knowledge or the inspiration that you need, not from specifically what I said, but that I say something that help ignites what you all may need to hear, right? So, and that's what's so wonderful about an affirmation is, like, it's different from the perspective of each person and what we've gone through in life to get to where we are. It's also different in what's going on in your life in the moment that affirmation arrives, of how you can take it, what truth you can hear in it or not, all these different things. And these are perspectives, right? And I think that's an important part of what we honor in mothers as well. Like, I was well into my 20s living in New York before I realized that, like, some people don't like their parents, and some people feel like they grew up in a household that wasn't supportive of them, or they didn't feel loved in that. Like, I learned later on that, like, I didn't have, like, maybe the everyday experience that I just expected of everyone. And so I honor that. You know, I have one friend out in California. She's in her 80s, and she still tells me details of what a bad mother her mother was. And she doesn't want to hear my perspective of, well, maybe she was just doing the best she knew. But it's, you know, she doesn't want that. So it's like, okay, I accept that. And I accept everybody has their own experience. And I also accept that within those perspectives, that the person holding the title of mother probably was really doing the best they knew how to do, even if the rest of us could point and be like, well, she had to know that wasn't the right choice to make, or that wasn't the right thing to say. Like, she had to know. And yet we've all been in a place where we said or did something where everybody could point to us and be like, well, he had to know that that was not the right thing to say or do, you know. And I can tell you, from somebody who often learns what I'm thinking right after the words come out of my mouth, that, like, no, that was really the best I had in that moment, like, you know. And so, like, I hope this is a time of healing for all of us. Like, whether we need a healing space with our own mothers or not, we can join together in that healing presence of mothering, because I think we can all accept in adulthood that it ain't an easy job. Like, you know, regardless of how well one is set up and how challenged another is set up, like, there's not a manual that arrives with the baby, you know. It's like you have to get, and if it was, the next baby that showed up would have a different manual, because we're all different. We all show up differently in wonderful ways and in not. Like, we all have our own things, right? So, let's look at some different perspectives. So the Bible verse that we used in May for our affirmations is from Proverbs 31:26, and it says, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. So, Chris, I think you've got the affirmations to put up on the screen. So this first one that went out last Wednesday, said the affirmation is, my power of wisdom draws in favor when I exercise kindness. My power of wisdom draws in favor when I exercise kindness. So we have to choose to exercise the kindness in that, right? We have to choose, and there are often moments where it's not the first thought. It's not the first instinct. And we're like, no. What will benefit me in this moment is kindness. And when I start doing that on purpose, a little extra wisdom is gonna show up for me, because it was behind the curtain of making this choice, right? And so, and that wisdom will work in my favor as I make this choice of kindness. So I invite you all to take this moment to, like, you know, close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, or what, and just kind of drink in what those words mean for you as I say this affirmation again. My power of wisdom draws in favor when I exercise kindness. And now we'll go to the next one. This one came out this past Wednesday. I listen for the wisdom of the Christ Spirit within me. I find the path of loving kindness. Now, here we're being invited to accept that there is a Christ spirit within us, that that's not just attached to some man named Jesus, that we're all part of that Christ spirit. We often say Christ mind, but I love the term spirit here in that place because it really is within us. And when we listen for that, there's something wise that's going to come out of it, right? And so when we're accepting that, then we find a path of loving kindness that is always available to us, that's laid out right in front of us right now. But if you start talking about, well, I stopped at my favorite breakfast place and they were out of what I wanted to have, and that path is still available. You just currently can't see it because you've taken that lens off. Like I like to look at it as if you put the different lenses on the camera, or the filters on the cameras, right? And so in this one, I want to put on the filter of the Christ spirit that is going to give me the wisdom and then going to give me a path of loving kindness. So I invite you to take this one in for a moment as I say it, closing your eyes or not, whatever works for you. I listen for the wisdom of the Christ spirit within me, and I find the path of loving kindness. Now let's look at the one we'll have this week coming up. I am wise, and I use my intuitive knowing to find the potential for good in all situations. I am wise and use my intuitive knowing to find the potential for good in all situations. Well, one thing that I'll tell you in this one, when what we teach in metaphysics is that Mary, mother of Jesus, represents our intuitive knowing. So this is really directly speaking to that mothering inheritance that's within all of us, man or woman, child with child or not, right? That mothering spirit. And so, and the other thing, I should tell you, these were all written by, our chaplains are Charlotte, Anita, Candy, Rod, and then I wrote one. And so I don't even know at this point who wrote which one, really. Like, I got them all, and then they all got mixed up. So, but you can start sometimes with the wording, guessing, maybe who wrote one or the other. But the invitation here is to first just start out by saying, I am wise. Have we all had a moment where we're like, I don't even know what's going on? Not only do I not know what to do, I don't even know what's going on, right? In that moment, if you stop and you say, I am wise, wisdom flows through me in an infinite way at all times. So I'm going to let go of this. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm going to accept that the wisdom is going to show me in just the right moment, in divine timing, in divine order, what I need to know. So I'm going to stop staring at the I don't know, and I'm going to accept the wisdom, and I'm going to say, I am wise, and I use my intuitive knowing. So I'm going to use it right now. I'm going to choose to first accept I have intuitive knowing, and then I'm going to choose to use it. And when I do that, I'm going to find the potential for good in this situation, in all situations. So in that, I'm going to read this one and invite you to drink this one in and use it in your own special way. I am wise and use my intuitive knowing to find the potential good in all situations. Now, the following Wednesday on May 24th, our affirmation is, when I let love guide my words, I find more wisdom and kindness. This one helps us immediately say, like, in the day of, I don't know what's going on, and everything annoys me. I know I'm not the only one that has that day. In that moment of like the I don't knows, I'm going to let love guide my words. So whatever I get ready to say, if there's not some love on it, I'm going to take a step back and paint some love in there. Like pretend I'm cooking. I'm going to stir a little bit of love into this, even if because I need it, not because I feel it in the moment, right? So these are easy to do when you're feeling it. What we're talking about is like, how do you use this when you really, really, really need it? Then you pull these out and you're like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let some love guide my words. And when I do that, I'll find more wisdom and kindness in this moment. And that's what I really need today is some wisdom and some kindness. So I'm going to let love guide my words. So I invite you to take this one in as when I let love guide my words, I find more wisdom and kindness. And our last one that will come out on the last Wednesday of May, May 31st, is my wisdom gives me kindness, and my kindness helps me use my wisdom. It's showing the two sides of the same coin, right? My wisdom gives me kindness, and my kindness helps me use the wisdom. So like sometimes I'm like, no, I know that this is right, and I still don't know what to do with it, right? Well, let's first be kind to ourselves. Let's use that kindness of like, you know what? You're doing the best you know how to do today. And we're going to accept that that is there, and in that, and give some thanks to that, use some gratitude, be kind to myself. And when you do that, like suddenly these new little bubbles, if you had the cartoon going of yourself, be like, oh, if you look right over here, and you're like, oh, I didn't even see that, right? Because I was looking here, right? That it's that teaching that I learned, that most of our lives we spend with the perspective as if we're looking through a little hole in the fence. And then when we go into that place of prayer and affirmations and meditation, we get lifted up where you can see like the full 360. And probably most of the time we don't see the full 360. But if we will get there, like the hole will at least get bigger. And you're like, oh, I didn't even see that over there, right? And so it's in using that. So I will read this one to you and invite you to see what comes true for you in this one. My wisdom gives me kindness, and my kindness helps me use my wisdom. As you move forward into the rest of this day and into every day that follows, know that you are wise, that you are kind, and that you are loving, and you are love. That is the inheritance that is within you to use all day, every day. And always know that it's there on those days when you forgot about it for a second. That just because it wasn't there in the moment doesn't mean you can't grab it once you acknowledge that it's something you really could use in the moment. That it's it's not out there. It's always right in here and right in here. I love you. I bless you. I behold the Christ that is in you. Yes, Bobby. Okay. Aubrey and Cora are two more mothers we want to acknowledge today. Thank you. Okay. Marianne and Ethel. Awesome. What? Okay. So now is our time to accept our love offerings and tithes, and I'm going to invite Nick up for that.
Thank you, Wally, for that message. I love that. What kind of kindness can you bring forth with your gifts to the church to create, you have a community inside you of spirit, and we have a greater community with all of us. You can give by texting. You can give by clicking on links at the university, the UIG website or Facebook page, or by Venmo. But it's the spirit behind the giving. What are you moved to put forth and make manifest in the world?
And let us all say together this prayer as they go around and collect. If you give electronically or you give monthly, you can place your hands on your heart. Extend this love as we say together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. The short one. All right, sing along as you will. Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Thank you, God, for everything.
So, as you all know, the prosperity principle of circulation is at the core of our unity teachings. There is no limit to the good that the universe will deliver into our lives when we live as givers to life. So I invite you to hold up your hands and infuse this love offering with the energy of gratitude and love as you see, hear, and feel yourself breathing through the following words. I give because I have received life. I give because I am able to give. Because I want to give. Because it makes me feel good to give. I put a blessing upon every service I render, upon the ideas I share, the appreciation and gratitudes I express, the checks I write, the currency I dispense. I do all of this so that others may feel the joy and happiness I find in giving, sharing, and communicating. I praise God that I may be a channel of service, of bounty, of well-being, of creative ideas. I give and receive in the spirit of oneness. And so it is. Amen.
And now for our announcements. We have several. If you are a first-time visitor or you haven't been here in a long time and have received a welcome bag, please fill out the visitor connection card and give it to an usher so that we may stay connected. And if you haven't received a bag, please raise your hand so that we can give you a gift. Okay. On the 17th, meditation, I open my heart to possibilities with Candy Bartling Connor. That will be this Wednesday at 6:30 on Zoom. Next Saturday, May 20th, we are going to see Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. We know that our minister is in that movie. And so they're going for a matinee with a conversation afterwards. Please sign up in the back if you're interested. And today is the deadline to let us know. Once we know how many people are signed up, then they'll see what slots are available, and then we'll let you know from there. On Wednesday, May 24th, Ellie McFalls is doing hypnosis, Identify Your Identity, and that's also on Zoom at 6:30. And then on June 9th, we're having a wine and cheese gathering at Dr. Jim Sukup's home at 616 Wedgedale Avenue in Greensboro. And Jim's number is 336-370-6569. Please bring an hors d'oeuvre, and the wine will be provided. And then there's a sign-up sheet on the back table for other upcoming activities. And now we'll have some more special music by Nick Boulay.
Thank you.
Fixing you.
I didn't realize that's all it took. I was kind of asked when Tal and Amy couldn't be here to play, and I really thought about playing this song. And it's kind of like, really goes with your message, Wally. I really appreciate that. This is a Ben Rector song called Extraordinary Magic. You won't believe it, as strange as it sounds. Extraordinary magic follows you around, and the camera won't catch it. You can't see it in the mirror. If I say look behind you, you turn around, it disappears, but I see it, I see it. I swear I do, I see extraordinary magic in you. Out of thin air, you appeared in my life like a burst of technicolor in a world of black and white. When my heart was locked inside a box, you reached inside, and now I see my future when I look into your eyes. But I see it, I see it, I swear I do, I see extraordinary magic in you. I know that miracles happen, who cares what they say? Love's nothing short of a miracle, happening over and over every day. So I keep my eyes open, odd and amazed. And if you start to doubt it, I'll remind you of the million ways I see it, I see it. I swear I do, I see extraordinary magic in you.
All right, so we're all set to go out and express love and kindness and wisdom. I invite you today when you go out to try one of them and see how one of the others bubbles up unexpectedly, right? Just accept that you got wisdom somewhere where you think you don't, and say, no, there's wisdom available to me, and then see what shows up. Choose to be kind just on purpose, and just find something and then see where the others bubble up if they do for you today, and come back and tell us about it. So next week, the lesson is called Crossing Our Bridges, and Miranda is leading the lesson next week. So please be here to support her for that. I will be here as well. And we're honoring graduates next week. So Miranda is aware of youth who has graduations coming up in either high school or others. But if any of you or anybody in the virtual world is graduating, completing something or another, we want to honor you too. So we need to know as soon as possible. Please let us know. Let me know today if we're here, or email us at the info@unityingreensboro.org by Wednesday. And we want to include you in that as well. And then Tanya Ross will be here doing the music next week as well. So I'm excited about that. All right, let's all join together in saying the prayer for protection. I invite you to stand and hold hands if you'd like. If you'd rather not hold hands, I invite you to place your hands in a prayerful position in the air. And let us all say together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, love is, peace is, light is, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Go have a great week on purpose.